Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to a Thespian Talk Encore. It has been a while since I've done one of these, holy shit, and, honestly, it's been a couple of weeks since we put out a full episode, and this is going to explain that and also go off a little bit about podcasts in general, because I've seen some changes going along in the podcasting world that I don't know if I like, but I want to put it out there to you guys, hear you guys' opinion on it. Yeah, this is just as polished as the main show. But in terms of where the main show has been, I've been kind of planning for the 200th episode, which I'm planning for the week after Mother's Day in terms of like recording and everything, because this last week was Easter. Last week as I was recording is Easter, and while the next 2 weeks are free. There's going to be 198, 199. 200 would have fallen on Mother's Day. But another reason why I also pushed it out a bit is Kat is currently, doing the con crunch, for Anime St. Louis and all of that good shit. And, she's needed to take a step back, and I really want to have her there for the 200th because she is currently the longest running co-host on the show, and I would like to have her there, to be completely honest. Which I'm sure by the time this goes up in live for everybody, I've probably mentioned it to her. I've probably mentioned it to her before, but or even if I haven't, it's probably one of those, no shit. But who knows? So yeah, episode 200 should be coming out the week after Mother's Day. Just because I'm not gonna have people recording on Mother's Day, because some of them want to spend time with their mothers, and that's fine. I'll probably wish my mother happy Mother's Day, and probably see about doing something if I can. We'll see what money says, and we'll go on from there. But other than that, who knows? I might do an encore that week. I don't know. But the other meat and potatoes of this particular file is changes in the podcast verse, if you will. Because I follow and listen to a podcast called Guys We Fucked, the anti-slut-shaming podcast. Yeah, it's a mouthful, which is why most people just refer to it as Guys We Fucked, because it's shorter, it's easier, kind of like the junk drawer, which we need to get back on board with that too, but just things keep on happening. It's I swear, I try to start up a second or third podcast and it gets cursed somehow. Although sometimes it works out a little bit. I mean, we got over 50 for Port Charlie Podcast, but I'm rambling. Okay, so why bring up Guys We Fucked? Well, they are going to a new provider, for lack of a better term at the moment. They're going to Luminary, which is a new podcasting app, which you can download, listen to. It's mostly like your every other podcast app that's out there. Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, etc. But the thing is, it's kind of like Netflix, from what I understand of it, in that you have all these great podcasts on there, and while, from the time I'm recording this on the 23rd of April, for the next month after this, so towards the end of May, it's free, but then you also have a subscription service. It's also subscription, as in paid subscription service. And I don't know if I can get on board with that, at least not for newer content, not for something that is meant to be a podcaster's bread and butter. Like, I don't want to put Thespian Talk behind a paywall. I mean, the only paywall there is early access, and whatever, that's early access. It's still released for free to the public. And I know there are other podcasts out there that have content behind a paywall, but it's more bonus content. Take It's Super Effective. They have their main podcast, and then they have Alola Vacation, where they talk about the newest season of the Pokemon anime. And it's Alola Vacation that's behind a paywall, but that's okay because it's not meant to be the meat and potatoes. It's meant basically for super fans who can afford to chip in a little bit of money, and they get a little bit back for their investment, and that's fine. In fact, I wouldn't mind doing something similar for my own stuff. I just don't have any idea what I would want to do yet. But while keeping things like Thespian Talk and The Junk Drawer and a couple of other podcasts, if I can get anything like revived or back going or whatever, keep all of those free, which is kind of the point of doing podcasts like this. Not just to get, not just to, vent or talk about topics or even get your name out there or whatever, but also free content, free entertainment for people, And I just think that just putting it all behind a paywall, your primary content behind a paywall, I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, yeah, there are a bunch of people who will happily and be able to afford it, and that's fine. You guys can afford it. If you can afford it, that's fine. But I'm thinking of the people who can't afford it, whether it's somebody like me who I'm between jobs, and while I'm not totally fucked over yet, I can't go spending any money that I do have on another service that I probably am going to use for maybe 1 or 2 shows. That sort of thing there. So it's not a viable option for a good chunk of us. I mean, personally, and somebody's going to be like, oh, you're telling them how to do it. I'm like, well, maybe. It might come across that way, and if it does, I apologize. But if I were them, I would have just went for Patreon. That way the people who do want to help pay and help keep up the monies or whatever, they just go to Patreon, they get all that money up, and they can keep the podcast free. It's win-win for everybody. Even with Patreon's more dubious practices as of late that are coming about, it's still... I still think it's better. I mean, even with Anchor has, the Anchor support on there, which is similar. You just provide money that way. You can do that for all of that. But in terms of things like Luminary, I don't know if everybody gets paid per podcast or whatever. I don't know how their pricing system works. So if you're able to pay for it and you don't want to pay for multiple podcasts, that's one thing. It's like Max Fun, except Max Fun's podcasts are always free. They do have like a little thing of their own that they set up, and they split it among their producers. But they have enough to where they can do that. And honestly, I wouldn't mind my Patreon or anything that I can do to get up to the point to where, hey, I can split it among everybody else. But now I'm rambling. And I'm also, I guess at the same time, I'm still going through my thoughts, and talking with you guys like this does help a little bit. I'm not gonna say it's totally bad, because again, there are plenty of people who could afford it, and if they want to pay for it, that's up to them. I just, for the in terms of where it's coming from for the people who can't just afford $10 a month, they can't afford, to do this or that or whatever for another service. It feels like a punch in the gut, and or at least I can even speak it as myself, because at this point, again, like I said, I can't really afford it. I've got enough saved up to take care of the bills I already have for a few months. I can't be adding others. And maybe people like us are in the minority, and yeah, they want to make money doing what they love, and they have been, and that's great. I don't want to disavow anybody of doing that. It's just it just seems kind of I don't necessarily want to say it's shitty, but it just seems kind of off to me to put your newer episodes, I should say, behind a paywall and all of that. And it's like, yeah, but it just now if there's a time where it becomes free later, then okay, that might mitigate it a little bit. But still, having the initial stuff behind a paywall is like, it's the same problem I have with Hulu, who puts episodes of, like, say, General Hospital behind the paywall, and then a week later you can watch the episodes for free. You're already a week behind in everything, and that's a damn soap opera. So you don't you don't need to be doing that. But yeah, so it's a little rambly here. Hopefully things I'm saying are making sense, and hopefully if you guys have any thoughts or whatever you want to add to the conversation on this one, feel free, leave a comment here. I should be putting this up on the main site as well, main site being rtgomer.com, which if you're not seeing them in your feeds, I've been noticing lately that Anchor has been having issues getting certain episodes of Thespian Talk to the feeds on like Apple Podcasts or whatever. Then if that's going to be the case, if that ends up being the case, then I also upload them to YouTube. So you have the YouTube version that gets put up on the site, and so you don't have to worry about whether or not Anchor goes up. Just check the site. They go up 7 p.m. Central Time every Monday whenever we do one. So just keep an eye on the just keep an eye on my Twitter. Keep an eye on the site's Twitter. RT Gomer Prod is the site Twitter. If you're not already following it, and that'll let you know when new episodes go up, as well as videos and articles by everybody else on the site too. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thanks to you guys for listening to me ramble for over 10 minutes now. But yeah, so new episode is going to be coming in the next week. Don't know who's going to sit in for Kat for this next week because she's still doing con stuff. And I'm pretty sure Aaron is probably going to be working. He's new job and everything. So that severely cuts back on his time, and I understand. I mean, hell, how often were we able to put out a new episode the past 2 years? I understand. And I'm pretty sure Michelle will be on board. So, and I kind of like the 3-person format. It gives us a little bit of extra. It gives us one extra person to keep the flow going and everything. So that'll be fun. But yeah, again, thank you guys for listening to me ramble for almost 12 minutes now. Yeah, take care, everybody, and until next time, this is Gomer, the Ranting Thespian, signing off.